Genevieve Kane, if you don't open this door right now, I will... Evie's voice trailed off. She was probably trying to think of a suitable threat that might get Viv off the couch. She'll sick her demon fiancé on you, Bev said. Or if you're being particularly stubborn, her demon spawn. Both of them. Viv sighed and pressed her index fingers against the bridge of her nose. Evie and Bev had been pounding on her condo door for the last 15 minutes. If it went on much longer, someone would call the cops. She knew what they wanted, had known they were showing up, but her stupid flashes of knowledge seldom gave her enough warning to avoid uncomfortable situations, just enough to brace herself. The knocking stopped. "Viv?" Evie said tentatively. "You know we love you, and ordinarily neither of us would push you to see us if you really didn't want to, but we're worried." "Please let us in," Bev said through the door. 30 minutes of conversation is all we're asking. If you want us to leave after, we'll go. No questions asked." "And no repercussions," Evie said. "We'll be here for you when you need us, but right now we need to make sure you're okay." Viv walked to the door but didn't open it. She dropped her chin to her chest and wrapped her arms around herself. "I wish..." Evie's voice was interrupted by the hollow sound of a hand clapping over her mouth. "Don't say that," Bev said. "Shit, I didn't mean..." Viv rolled her eyes and sighed loud enough for it to carry through the door. She unlocked it and opened it. 30 minutes, and then you leave." She turned and walked back into her apartment, poured herself a glass of wine, and sat down in the overstuffed recliner. Evie and Bev exchanged glances and settled onto the couch across from Viv. Viv looked at her friends, fingers tapping on her knee. She looked at her smartwatch, then up at the women across from her. 27 minutes. Evie crossed her legs and leaned forward. "Viv, I know this year has been hard, and I know that Eden Valley is the last place you want to be, but you're shutting us out too. Bev and I don't need you to come to us for our monthly brunch. We just need you." Bev fixed Viv with a hard stare that Viv couldn't escape from. "You know I would move heaven and hell for you. Either of us would, but we can't help you if you won't let us in." I didn't even think that would be a literal situation, ever. But here we are. Evie spread her arms to encompass the condo. Evie and Bev leaned back, watching Viv expectantly. She took a large drink of the Chardonnay she always had on hand, thanks to an old lover who'd become a good friend. Her gaze dropped to the table, separating her from her friends. It might be a narrow coffee table, but it felt like the gulf she'd put between them was widening the longer this went on. The visions that had been mere blips when they started in April of last year had picked up in frequency and intensity, if not usefulness, in the intervening 15 months. They'd started in Eden Valley, and every time she went back, they'd ratcheted up another notch. Staying away was the only way she could protect herself, something her friends wouldn't understand. She took another sip. 23 minutes. Evie sat up straight, folded her hands on her lap and said, "We've been friends since we were in 4th grade. That's 36 years of history. In that time, we have seldom fought, and until a year ago, we've never gone more than a day without speaking. Bev and I have dropped so many balls with you, taken you and your trips back to Eden Valley for granted. I don't know how to make it up to you.